Kristen with Nerdette's NewsStand, and today is the 5th day in the Johnny Depp vs. The Sun trial. Now, I will be covering this all week, along with my regular content. I will have a Stargirl review up tomorrow, and, my normal stuff. But make sure you are subscribed for updates when it comes to this case. Now, this is starting week 2, and today concluded Johnny Depp in the witness stand and was overall pretty positive, in my opinion. Again, I want to give a huge thanks to Nick Wallace, both along with Sky News, who do a really good job of live tweeting this stuff. So I am going to go a little bit fast, that way I can cover everything that was covered today in the least amount of time without taking up too much of your time. So I'm, again, sorry if I mix up my words. I tend to do that a lot, and no, I am not ever drunk in my videos. So this is going to start with David Sherborne re-examining Johnny Depp. We are back to the incident where Amber Heard alleges Johnny hit both she and her sister Whitney, but come to find out, Johnny Depp's lost the tip of his finger just 2 weeks prior to that. So he had, lost that, then had surgery, then he contracted MRSA, and because of this, he had a cast on his hand, right? So he would not have been physically able to do the accusations in which she said happened. Also, we speak of the phone throwing incident on December 15th, 2015, where the very next day, and we've talked about this before on the channel, she goes on to the James Corden show with no visible injuries. But December 17th, which would be 2 days later, Amber Heard has an appointment with a nurse, right? Who doesn't see any visible injuries. 2 days isn't long enough to heal, at least in my professional opinion. Nor does she have anywhere on her scalp that hair would have been physically pulled out of. The worst thing she literally had that day was chapped lips. But even so, we also learned that the incident before Amber Heard's 30th birthday party and why Johnny Depp was so upset, right? His accountants that were, rightfully so, had fired, had lost him nearly $750 million, and they had not paid his taxes for 17 years. He had every single right to be upset. And Johnny Depp also does accuse Amber Heard of throwing these haymakers, right? Which are like roundhouse, crazy, all over the place punches after that party. And really, she did not even deny throwing these haymakers. So we also learned why Johnny has such an issue with Amber Heard's friend, I.O. Tillett Wright. And that is because I.O. asked Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose, for an interview, and you have to remember this is in 2015 when she was only 15 or 16 years old, for his LGBTQ activism that he does. And it was an interview and a photo shoot, and he did not even seek out the permission of Johnny or Vanessa, so I can understand a little why he wouldn't like that man. So we also discuss Amber Heard's transcripts of a recording, and this was Amber saying basically she was in a secret fight club, right? She had been planning it for years, in her words, on a transcript. So this is all when it comes to the defamation. We've talked before about how Johnny thought she was basically building a dossier when it came to defaming him and crying victim, right? So saying you are in a secret fight club probably, in my opinion, isn't the smartest thing to do. And then they show some pictures, just very small ones today, like him passed out with ice cream, showing, she had built this up to try to prove, he was this drug addict that blacks out and beats women. So the judge then ended his time with Johnny Depp and in the witness box. So there was a few questions from the judge to Johnny just to clear up some things. And then they switched to Stephen Detters. And Stephen Detters is an employee of Johnny Depp's for many years. And he is questioned first off by the Sun's counsel, which is Sasha Wass, and she basically tries to discredit anything that he says. Any word he says, because he is an employee of Johnny Depp and basically financially dependent on him. They also go over again the drug use over and over again, and who got the drugs for Johnny, and the fact that he didn't have much of a drug problem until 2012 when he and Vanessa separated, which was really the root and cause for it, and how he acted on, with different types of drugs, how they affected him, and also how he treated women. So that was kind of just a, character witness. Also, that Stephen was on the flight from Boston to LA, where Amber claims Johnny Depp kicked her, which Stephen says was simply a playful kick to the bottom of her seat. Nothing more. Just, him trying to get her attention, making a joke out of it, and Amber blew it out of proportion. He also says that Johnny was not even aggressive during that flight, but instead he was sick from going through opiate withdrawals. Also, we went over the emails from 2014 where Amber didn't send them to anybody but herself, and Stephen said she really did embellish every single thing she said in those emails. And that's probably why they weren't sent, at least in my opinion. And he admitted that, he was told and did placate things to Amber, trying to basically smooth things over between Johnny and Amber. And he would, kind of just tell her what she wanted to hear, and he was instructed to do so. So we also found out from him some of the drug-seeking texts from the Bahamas were cut off by Sasha Wass, who's obviously representing the Sun, because the very next text said, by the way, this is Amber on Johnny's phone. So they did cut off quite a few times, at least 3 times so far, these texts that are supposed to be a gotcha when really they're just completely taken out of context. So the next witness we see is Edward White. He is the business manager for JD, and he is questioned by, again, Sasha Wass, basically about his finances and the fact that Amber didn't get half of the money during the divorce. Really, there was no need for it, but, they just established that Amber didn't get the money that, Sasha thinks she deserves. So the next witness was pretty important in my opinion. It was Trinity Esperanza. She is the owner of Try Provide, which provides staff and concierge service to Amber Heard's building that she lives in. So she saw her on a quite frequent basis. She did say she's always liked Amber Heard. She always treated her well. She had no reason to lie in court, but established basically when she saw her in real life, she didn't have the marks that initially were shown to the media. None of those marks were ever there. Now, one thing that was questioned in this is, she could have been wearing makeup. And she says, no, I've seen Amber in makeup. She wasn't wearing makeup. She has that natural beauty. She could tell. Women can usually tell. So, also it was kind of established she never had marks when she was with Johnny Depp. The only time she even noted that she had any cuts, bruises, marks on her was when Johnny Depp was completely out of the country and he was out filming. And that's the time when we had the CCTV footage of, Amber cheating on him with Elon Musk. So it kind of lines up that maybe it wasn't Johnny the one that was pushing her around. I don't know that Elon Musk necessarily did either, but that was the only time she actually had any marks. So Johnny Depp wasn't even in the country, so it makes no sense. Also, the photos that were submitted to the court that I showed in a previous video last week from May 23rd, these were, what she said Johnny did to her. And they showed her the photos, and she saw her the same day in real life. She said she had a completely perfect, clear complexion. And none of these things were actually there, and kind of hinting at the fact that these were probably makeup. These were probably very purposefully done, again, to build that dossier against Johnny. So hopefully We will know more this week. Amber was originally supposed to take the stand on Friday. With all of the backups, I'm not sure that she'll make it till Monday, but even so, I will be covering this daily. There isn't a whole lot coming out new, except for the fact that obviously a lot of this was staged by somebody that wanted to further their career. So even so, let me know what you guys think about what happened today in court, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon and subscribe stars. You guys literally make this channel possible. Huge thank you to Cage the Mick, Robert Mick Twiz, Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris Z, David L, David Rafford, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Mighty Balls, Mike Buckner, Maizen Barbosa, Ruskar, Ryan Decker, Robert Hoffman, and Doc Holliday. You guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget on the way out to like as always if you enjoy the content and hit subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.